Hello, it's Ted Bradshaw. This video today is about depression, and in particular it's about this idea that depression is not only about sadness, and there might be a whole mix of emotions which can be really confusing if that's what's going on for you. Let's start with the fact that sadness is often a part of feeling depressed. So we'll put that on there. But the clearest descriptor, or the word that's used the most, I think, within depression, is feeling flat. I've put joyless on here because the way that I would describe that is kind of this. Just sort of, I can't face it, or I can't deal with it right now. Or this sense that the world's gone a bit grey. So even the things that I would usually enjoy don't have any colour to them, don't have any life to them. And that might not make me feel sad, it might make me feel flat. Like, what's the point? And that is often a better description of what it feels like to be depressed. It saps all your energy, physically exhausted, but not only that, the world has gone grey. How we make sense of that, or as a therapist how I make sense of that, is within depression, often the way we've ended up feeling or the way we've ended up seeing things is feeling like things are hopeless. Like there's no way out, or there's no way forward. Or helpless. A sense that even if there was a way out, I'm not sure I could do it. I'm not sure I can face it right now. I don't know if I've got the strength. I want to take a moment to talk about a couple of ways in which you might end up feeling this way, and there's a couple more emotions that you might feel over and above these two as well. So let's start with loss. I think most people can understand that loss could lead to a period of depression because it kind of makes sense to us, right? We certainly would understand if somebody would feel really sad if they've lost somebody important to them, or they've lost a role that's important to them. But where that can become depression is when it makes you feel hopeless, helpless, and really flat, like there's no point. And the way that I would describe this is, when you lose a person, you don't only lose the person, you lose the future that you're going to have with that person as well. The two examples I want to give are, if you're approaching retirement and you lose your partner, you don't only lose your partner, you lose so many things, but one big thing you lose is you lose what those next 20, 30 years were going to look like. Even if you hadn't explicitly spoken about it, you'll have thought about it, and there's this path laid out ahead of you, and all of a sudden it's gone. And there's nothing else there. It's this void. So not only can I not see the light at the end of the tunnel, I can't even see a tunnel. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and I can't see how it could possibly ever be okay. And that would make you feel hopeless. The other example I would use about loss is losing a pregnancy. When you lose a pregnancy and you have a miscarriage, you don't only lose the baby or the pregnancy, you lose the child and the adult that baby was going to become. You can't help thinking about that when you're pregnant. You can't help daydreaming about it. So when you lose that child, you lose that whole future as well. And for a long period of time, it can feel like, well, I don't know what my life is anymore. And that is really this feeling. The second couple of things I'd really like to talk about are feeling trapped. So this one comes up quite a lot if you find yourself, for example, in a job where you can't face it anymore, it's horrible, it's grinding you down. Either there's somebody there that's making you feel miserable, or the workload is just too intense and you just can't face it. But you also can't face quitting, or you don't feel like it's an option. Either because you don't feel you'd be able to get another job, feeling kind of helpless, or your confidence has been ground down so much that you don't feel you'd ever be able to get anything or anybody would want you. Or perhaps you feel like you've backed yourself into a corner financially, like I have to keep this job because otherwise we'll have to lose the house. And so you feel like you're stuck between two options, neither of which work for you, and you're trapped. And that can really feel hopeless again. Like, I don't know what to do. let's talk about the emotions that might make you feel. You might not feel sad about that situation. What you might feel is anxious. So you could feel like things are hopeless, but you're still every day having to get up and go to work, but all you can think about is, how am I ever going to get out of this? And that might not feel like sadness. It might feel like fear, that you're just constantly going over and over it, worrying and worrying and worrying. That doesn't mean it's not depression, but that can be confusing. The final bit I want to talk about is feeling ground down. Again, if we take that work example, another common experience that people describe is ending up feeling hopeless because they've been trying for so long to get somewhere. The examples I would give here is the work example again. If I've got a boss that's never happy with what I'm doing, but I'm just still trying to keep them happy, eventually I grind myself down. Or if there's some physical health stuff going on for me and I'm trying my best to find a solution for it, but nobody seems to have an answer for me, and I'm doing all I can, they're doing all they can, and we're not getting anywhere, that can really grind me down. It can leave me feeling like there's no hope. It's never going to get better. And this leads us to the final bit of emotion we're going to put on here, which is anger. You can be depressed and mostly feel angry. Maybe you'd feel angry at your job. Maybe you'd feel angry at the situation. Maybe you'd feel angry with yourself for putting yourself in this position. I hope this is useful as a way of just understanding that there are so many ways that this can show up, and as a good starting point for helping you to understand what might be going on for you.